I'm Alex. I'm with Cloze. Thanks for joining our EXP CRM of Choice session. I'm going to run through some slides here, give you a live demo as I go back and forth with the training today. Today is all about using Cloze on a daily basis. How do you get in a routine to stay close to your sphere? So we're going to talk a lot about what I call live flow. So staying in touch with your sphere, staying on top of your sphere so you get repeat clients and referrals. To start with, though, I'm going to recap some of the things I covered on Monday, so you've got a good foundation on how to organize. I want to make sure you're doing that as you go here. We've got 3 classes that are on rotation, and we're going to have more and more throughout the summer. As a reminder, we are live streaming on YouTube and in EXP World, so ask your questions. My colleagues are there to answer your questions. Feel free to ask as many questions as you'd like. They're going to hit those questions as I go throughout the presentation. At the end, I will try to take any questions that I can that weren't covered by them. But in general, we're going to be hitting them all. So when we look at today's agenda, we're going to go through a recap of the organizing, talk a little bit about terminology, talk a little bit about how you organize your sphere, and then we're going to get into the meat of the class, which is all about using Cloze on a daily basis. Okay. All right. So let's dive into that recap here. When it comes to organizing, kind of 2 primary ways to think about it. And what I really want you to think about is, where do you get most of your business from, both now and historically? So start there. We want to get to about 200 contacts or so over time. That's the core of your sphere. You may have other people outside. You can kind of think of it as a bullseye, and in the middle is your core sphere. And then you may have some people in the peripheral that are getting newsletters and things like that. But when it comes to live flow in today's class, we want to be pretty focused. We're going to talk a little bit about stages, segments, and tags. Those are the primary way to organize your contacts. Tags are great for things outside the journey, but you're going to use stages and segments to keep track of people you're working with right now. So you can think of the journey. I've got a hot buyer. They're trying to buy in the next 60 days. That's what you're going to use stages and segments for. Tags you're going to use for things like who's on your newsletter list, right? Who do you want to send a holiday card tag to or card to? Some optional settings we'll go through real quickly. You can sync contacts from Cloze back to Google or back to Microsoft 365. Very popular thing to do. You don't have to do it. Also, I want to make sure you know how to connect SkySlope. That is also very helpful. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask our team. We have instructions in our help center as well. So connecting SkySlope and ZenList, if you use that product, are both very helpful as we get going here. All right, let's dive in. I'm going to start off in a demo account here that is specifically set up to show you what it looks like with your environment. So imagine you just signed up. You're going to come into Cloze for the first time. And you're going to see on your agenda these getting started steps. These steps are designed to guide you as you go. And so you don't have to go anywhere else. You just see them right inside of Cloze. Makes it very easy. The ones we're going to focus in right here are at the top here, import your contacts. If you click on that, it's going to give you some options. The first one's going to be already done. So if you connect your Google account, you can connect as many as you'd like, or you connect your Microsoft Outlook account, you can connect as many of those as you like. You can connect as many email accounts you like in general with Cloze. But if that service has contacts associated with it, we're going to bring it in. So that one's going to be checked off for most of the time. You can also optionally import your phone contacts, so import your device contacts. I do recommend that because we tend to have a lot of contacts in there. As a reminder, Cloze will handle deduplication and merging, so you don't have to worry about any issues there. This last one is really important, so I want to highlight it. If you click on this where it says import a file, we're going to give you a couple of options. I recommend the let us import your file option. If you click on that, you're going to see an opportunity to send us a file. It's going to go right to our support team. You can see right here at the top, support@cloze.com. If I click on that, I can see the email address. If you have a spreadsheet from your prior CRM, we will help you import it into Cloze. We'll take care of that work for you so you don't have to do it. If you have a spreadsheet you've been meticulously keeping track of for many years and you want to import that into Cloze, we can also import it. Just attach it, look for this paper clip on the right side or drag it over into in here and we'll attach it for you and then send that off. Just push on the send button upper right. You can add some notes. So give us some tips on any details you can about it, and then we'll help you get it imported, okay? So that's one thing we do for you. Just take advantage of it as you go, okay? So that's the first one. The next one down is organize your top 50 people. I'm going to show you a profile and I'm going to come back to this one. So I'm in the people section. This is kind of what your account's going to look like because you haven't organized anybody yet. So it's going to be your core contacts imported. Cloze will bring in those Google contacts, those 365. If you do the spreadsheet or if you import your device contacts, they're going to all live here in this section called My People. If I click on My People, you're going to see what we call audiences. So My People is an audience. It's one we create for you. That's very top level. That's all the contacts we brought in. Down below, you're going to see some other ones. Last file import. So if we do import a file for you, you'll see all those contacts right there. If you want to go a little further, you can click on Discovered People. This is a group of all the people Cloze has discovered beyond the ones you formally created. Okay. So when we talk about the set of contacts that you don't typically create, they're going to be in the Discovered People. This is a demo account, so I only had 12 there. But when it comes to creating and getting a full understanding of your sphere, that Discovered People audience is very helpful because Cloze is keeping track of those contacts and your communications behind the scenes and kind of putting them off to the side. So if you need them, they're there for you. If you meet somebody new, that's where you're going to find a discovered person because we're going to create a contact as you communicate back and forth over email. Put them off to the side. If you want to organize them later, you can do that. But you don't have to do all the manual work of putting their name in, their email address, and all that. Okay. So we'll save you a lot of time. I'd start with the core set of contacts, but if you want to go and poke around in the discovered people, you can. Now, a few things here. If I click on Dana here, you're going to see I've got my history of communication. So Cloze is going to build that timeline automatically. On the right side, you're going to see a section called Relationship. This is where we track the journey. Okay, so warm, hot, in contract, closed and lost. We call those stages. That's their journey. Where are they on that? You can think of warm as a lead. So somebody who's come in, maybe you've had a conversation and you think they're close to being ready to buy or sell, but they're not quite there yet. Or they filled out a form on your website or some other service. I'd call them warm. And then once you talk to them, connect with them, confirm that they are going to indeed transact, then you move them to hot. Okay. Below, you see segment. And this is where you're going to see some common terms: buyer and seller, somebody who's doing both. Seller, we've got ABCD. These are very popular in things like ninja selling or Buffini, and then renter, landlord, some very typical ones that are here. So I'm going to select buyer. I'm going to call Dana a buyer here, and I'm going to say that she's warm. Okay, so that's the journey she's on with me. She's a warm buyer. If I talk to her, I can advance her to hot if I wish to do so. And the goal is to move through the whole process. Right below here, you'll see what we call steps. Think of steps as repeatable checklists that we complete to move and advance that person to the next stage. So these are the things I've outlined in my account to help me move forward from warm to hot. You can scroll down, you can see the other ones I have under the hot stage. So I can check these off as I go, and then it will just advance me along. So I could select intro call, and I'll now be on intro call. Okay. You don't have to use steps. They're completely optional, and you can customize them if you wish to do so. We're going to include some to get you started, but they can be helpful. Some people really like the process. Some people don't want the process at all. It's totally up to you. You can even remove them. Easy to do. Okay. You can customize this. I'll give you a quick little preview of that in a moment. So if I talk to Dana, maybe I've worked through all my steps here, I could make her hot. So now I've advanced her from warm to hot. And then I have a different set of steps. And this can continue all the way through. Last thing on this, if you connect SkySlope, all the people you've worked with historically that are in SkySlope on your side, so the contacts you've created there, they're going to sync into your Cloze account and be set to closed. So you're going to see them as closed buyer or seller, okay, depending on what side of the transaction you're on. So those will come in automatically. So one of the reasons I suggest connecting SkySlope is we'll auto-organize those contacts for you, which is very helpful. We're also going to set a purchase anniversary or a sale anniversary. So if she's a buyer, you're going to see purchase anniversary. So if it was coming in from SkySlope, I'll just pick a date here. It's going to set that date for you here automatically. This section is where you can set other anniversary dates. We're going to talk a lot about anniversary dates coming up. But if you know somebody's birthday, you can set it here, pick whatever date it is. If you don't know the year, that's fine. You don't have to set it. but this is where you can set these things. All these sections expand as you go. So if I expand contact info, I can see all the contact info I have for her. If I expand at a glance, I can add some notes about her. So it could be, has 2 dogs, right? And whatever information I want to put in there. But the idea is some quick things you might want to look at before you get on the phone, just to refamiliarize yourself, to be more personal as you reach out. Okay. Details. This is where you can link the spouse. So if you know who the spouse is, you can link. So I've got Dave, that's the spouse, link, done. Okay. Same thing with children and other ones as well. So those linking can be helpful. You can link who referred you the lead. So if you got a lead from a past client, somebody you worked with in the past, you can link them as well. A few other things while we're on the profile. This is the full timeline. This will scroll back in time as far as you communicate with the person. Any notes you have, they're going to show up in this section. I don't have any yet. Files are going to come in here to do, so you can go across. I'll go into another profile, has more details there, but you get the idea. Along the top is where you can take action. So you can call, text, email, etc. across the top. If I want to make changes, click on edit. Okay, so this is where I can update all kinds of things. I can add pictures and work history, things like that. And then I can add and remove email addresses. So if I wanted to archive this email address, I can just say archive. Okay. We use archive because that information was relevant in the past. It's just not relevant now. And it's a way of us stitching together that past history of communications. So when you're done, you can just make changes. Easy to do. Okay. So that's a quick tour of the profile. So remember this journey. A tag is another way to organize outside of that. So you could add a tag. I can start adding a tag. I'm going to make a new tag here called holiday card. And then all I have to do is select it. And now I've added it. So I've not only created the tag, but I've also added it to the person. I could create another tag called new, and you can see it's added it. If I have an existing tag, you'll see that there too. So I just added those tags. Easy to do. Okay, let's go to the agenda and go through the next step, this organize your top 50 people. If I click on that, it's going to bring up a quick organize wizard. What that will help you do is go through your top people very, very quickly. So the way this works is it's going to Cloze and uses AI to analyze your relationships, understand who you know best. So it's going to analyze your email, your meetings, your calls, your texts, and understand who you know well. And it's going to put them at the top. Even people in your discovered people, so not just the people that you formally created a contact, but people you know really well but have never had a chance to create a contact for, they're going to show up in here too. So it is a nice way to quickly organize your sphere. So we just talked about segments. They go this way. So I've got buyer and seller, renter. So these are my top 4 segments. And then going the other way, warm, hot, in contract, and close. Those are the stages. That's the journey. So I've got Aaron here, and I know he is a hot buyer. So all I got to do is tap on the check mark. Now I got John, and I know he's both buying and selling with me right now. So I'm going to mark him as a hot buyer and seller. Now I got Rob. I know he's a warm seller. Willow, she's a hot renter. Jared Dunn, a warm buyer. So you can see the name is right here. Now, if I get to Troy, he's not one of these. I can skip him. Just click on the arrow here, skip ahead. Now I got Sloan. Can't remember what she's doing. I'm going to skip ahead. I got Hank. I know he's a hot buyer. Arthur, I know he's a hot seller. Ed is in contract selling right now. You can just go through the list. So you can quickly get through a lot of people. They should be familiar because Cloze has done this analysis and understands who you know. You're going to see those people at the top. Anybody you can skip, you can come back to later. You can also go back. If you change your mind and want to change Ed here to hot, you can do so. Or you can make him in contract, whatever you'd like. Okay. Easy to do. So I've just worked through 12 contacts very quickly, and they're automatically organized. The next screen is going to show you where you can fine tune your keep in touch reminders. So Cloze will use artificial intelligence to understand your patterns of communications and just start reminding you automatically. But you can also say, remind me regardless of that pattern at a different schedule. So I can say, in contract buyers, I want to be reminded every 3 days. Okay, that's fine. Set it 3 days. You can pick whatever schedule you'd like. So Cloze is very precise because it knows that the last time you had a call, you had a text, you had an email, all that information it will track and then remind you if you're out of touch. So if I'm talking to somebody who is a in-contract buyer more frequently than every 3 days, it's not going to remind me. But if I get to the 4th day, it will remind me. Okay. Same thing for the other settings. You can adjust for all these. When you're done, just hit save. I'm going to review these settings again, so it's okay if you didn't get through all that right away. So now if we go back to the people section, you're going to see how some of the ones that all the ones that I filled out are all here. So here's Dana. We did Dana manually, but then the rest we did with the wizard. If you remember from the last class, we looked at the views. If I click up here, I'm in the table view here, but I can select other options. So I could do Kanban, which is nice to see where I am. So I can see my entire warm list, my hot list. It just gives me a visualization of that. And then there's other ones like list in details, which lets me move very quickly between. You can see here's my list on the left, and then I can just quickly move between each one I'd like to move. So it's really personal preference on what you like. I like table because it's very compact and I can see lots of things. You can also adjust the columns. You can customize them. So if I wanted to set some other things that are important to me, I could do that. Just add the columns, and then you can see they're over here. There's the note I added earlier for Dana. Another thing to point out here, and then we'll get on to the rest of the class. If you tap on the funnel, you're going to see some very interesting and helpful sorting options. So you can, of course, filter the view in all kinds of interesting ways, call those more power features. But when it comes to sorting, look for things like first met, last interacted, they last engaged. So using that communication, the emails, calls, and texts, understanding precisely the last time you talked, you can use that as different ways to sort. Some others that I really like around organizing are when was the contact created, or a new contact that maybe synced in from your phone, but you've never talked to them. Contacts our AI is recommending you classify. So there's some really nice ones you can go through here to precisely find contacts that you'd like. Another thing to note here is if you want to get back to that wizard, just click on the big plus and then quick organize and it'll come right up. You can do that anytime you want. All right. Okay, so today we're going to focus on the Cloze Agenda. That's right here. I'm going to go through a few slides. I'm going to bounce back and forth as we go to give you a good understanding of how to use Cloze. I'm going to demo on my phone and on the computer, so I'll be bouncing back and forth, but ask those questions of the team. They're here to answer them. So if you go down that menu I was just showing you, those steps, you're going to see the last step is starting to use your agenda. So that's what we're going to focus in on today. So I'd like to start with Shirley here because she's been using Cloze for many years now. And I love her journey with technology because she did a pretty big study and, she was trying to figure out what to use. She tried a lot of different CRMs. She tried a lot of different tools in the past and they kind of just weren't clicking. And she'd try a CRM for a while and then just fade off. And the reason that happened is because she just, got frustrated with how much work it was to get it into a useful place. And then she felt like she was spending so much time on it that it just wasn't helping her out. So her point here is with Cloze, there's all kinds of artificial intelligence that's eliminating that work, catching things you might have missed, creating contacts automatically for you. That artificial intelligence is what saves her a lot of time and has had a meaningful impact on her business. And that's what she's saying. That client, I love those moments. And the reason that is because what she's talking about here is Cloze found a client that she got out of touch with and resurfaced it for her so she didn't forget. We get busy with the present, the here and now, and then we forget about those clients that we worked with a few years ago or more, and they fade, and then they can easily drift off. If we stay in live flow with them, they're going to come back to us and they're going to refer us. And so that's where we want to go. That's what Cloze is really good at. I also like to show this one with Julia here. I find the stories of people really using the product are much better than me just telling you this. But what Julia's point is that she was a pretty skeptical agent coming in, and she was in our classes, and this was probably 3 years ago now, maybe a little more, and tried a lot of CRMs too. And, said, fine, I'll try it. Went through the classes, loaded everything up, connected her phone, connected her email, started to get in there. But she came back very enthusiastic to the next class because Cloze had flagged a client for her and he was ready to buy. And so her point was, don't overthink it. Let the AI help you. We tend to do a lot of manual work in traditional CRMs because they make us do that. Let the personal assistant side of Cloze help you. Check your agenda every day and you will find opportunities there. So that's what today is all about. So as you think about using Cloze throughout the day, I like to think about it in terms of a journey that starts in the morning. So from a routine perspective, start there. You want to start on your agenda. We'll dive into it in a second here, but start there instead of anywhere else. Because if you carve out a set of time that's for your business, it will make a difference. And so what Cloze will do is build an entire agenda for you automatically and give you really an action plan for the day. So you don't have to go create a manual to-do list of all the people you need to reach out to. It's just going to do that for you. And then you can work on that activity. I'll say this a few times. I don't want you spending hours inside of Cloze. You could easily get a lot of value out of Cloze with 15 to 30 minutes a day. And that's what a lot of people do. In fact, a lot of coaches talk about that too. Coaches who coach on Cloze or coach on other systems, they really want you spending time with your clients. They don't want you spending lots of time in your technology, but the technology is there to help you. And it's getting better and better and better with all the different artificial intelligence we have. So we've been doing artificial intelligence on relationships for a decade. There's lots more other types of AI that are, obviously front and center now. So some of the other features we have, like our ghostwriter to help you create content, just make it even easier. So there's lots of different ways you can speed through your day and just focus on your clients. So after that early morning routine, you have the rest of the day. Do your meetings, meet with your clients, do everything you knew. But another key thing is, this is why we have you download the mobile app, is the functionality on the iPhone or the Android is exactly the same as on your computer. There's no functional difference at all. So you can take notes, you can look things up, you can work through a few more things on your agenda, all very, very easily. When you're back in your office, you're done with your meetings, whatever you want to be, Cloze is still there. It's all synced securely in the cloud. It's all synced up for you, so you can go back to your computer, follow up on anything you need to do. And at the end of the day, I like to see kind of a setup for the next day. So review your meetings, confirm things like that. But again, that's all in one place for you on the agenda. So think of Cloze as that action plan. Start there. It's going to group everything into nice, convenient, tasks you need to take care of. And then you can easily take care of them. My recommendation is to start on the Cloze agenda, not your email. It's really easy to get lost in our inbox, and then we look up and we've spent a couple of hours on somebody else's agenda. This is all about investing in your business and your priorities. It's not a lot of time, but if you take the time to do it, it will make an impact. The most important emails are going to bubble up and show on the agenda anyway. So if you get a lead, it's going to be on the agenda. If it's an important email from a client, you're going to see that, a document you need to sign, things like that. Those are all going to pop up on the agenda. So you don't have to worry about missing stuff necessarily. It's all going to be there. We've designed it to be very easy to just take action right there, simple swipe actions. It's going to change every single day. You're going to see a variety of different things. And that's the idea, right? Some days you're going to have birthdays, some days you're not going to have birthdays, but it's all going to be in one place without you having to do the work of pulling it together. I like to start on my phone because if I'm going to make phone calls, I'm going to dial from my phone. Simple swipe action to call, simple swipe action to email. So think of it as take action to the right. And then if you want to mark something done or skip it or clear it, you're swiping to the left. Okay. So right to take action, left to finish up, general rule of thumb. All right, let's start with keep in touch reminders. If you take away anything from today's presentation, this is probably the big one because it makes a huge difference in your staying in flow with your sphere. So Cloze is going to use all that communication history that it's keeping track of privately and securely for you. It's analyzing that information and it's understanding your patterns, how often you communicate with your sphere. It's going to bubble those people up, nudge you to reach out if you get out of touch. This is going to include a mix of reminders. It's going to include reminders about people that, based on those settings we just talked about, that require you to get in touch with them. So you say, I want to be reminded every week about a hot buyer. Cloze will catch that and remind you. It's also going to include folks that the AI has said, this is somebody really important and you got to get back in touch with them. Okay. I like this quote from Spencer because he was using a different CRM before he switched to Cloze. And one of the things that kind of drove him crazy is he constantly had to write lots of notes, set manual reminders, all kinds of things, and then sort and filter and all kinds of activities just to get to the people he had to call each day. So it's like, who do I call today? Right? Common question. I don't know how to figure out how to call today. His point is, with Cloze, he just goes on the agenda and starts dialing. He doesn't have to do any activity like that. Okay. So what you're going to see in the keep in touch section is a variety of different contact. It could be 3 some days, it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 8, like in this example, but you're going to have on rotation people that Cloze is recommending you get back in touch with. You're going to see exactly the last time you had a call, a text. You can see it's 28 days with Gina here since I talked to her. And then it's going to remind you. Okay. Very simple. There's 2 types of keep in touch reminders. I call these more of the here and now type keep in touch reminders. You're in some kind of flow with them and Cloze is reminding you to get back in touch. And those are the ones you can fine tune. So you can say, remind me every 2 weeks, every 3 days, every week. And we have another type. It's pure AI based on your strong relationships that you had in the past. So think of it as Cloze is traversing your history of communications all the way back in time and figuring out who you know well at certain points in time. And so these tend to be actually really important contacts. They tend to be clients that you worked with, helped buy or sell many years ago, but have completely faded off. So you have a very strong relationship back in time, but that's faded over time. So Cloze catches the fade and puts them back in front of you. We're not going to give you more than a couple a day of those, but we call them a blast from the past because that's exactly what they are. You haven't talked to them in a long time. We're resurfacing them. The reason to pay attention to those is they tend to be clients. So those are complete gold. We get the most stories out of those. I don't know how you realize this was a client of mine, but I haven't talked to him in a while, and I got a deal. Those stories come back to us all the time. I like Jay's comments here because he did exactly what you're doing right now. He got started, got organized, got his whole sphere in there, his top 200, and just got into a routine. And it's completely changed how he operates, and it's making a meaningful difference to his business. He goes in, he reaches out, nothing slips through the cracks. He just has to log in. That's his point. So that's our goal, is to get you to that flow. Just get in there, make the calls, send the texts, send the emails, and then you're done. That's what these keep in touch reminders are all about. So it's all teed up for you. There's 5 different options. You can snooze it if you want to do it later. First position is mail. So send them an email. Next position is call them up. Okay. So simple ones go that way. Go left, you can skip. So if you want to skip the cycle, not reach out, or and on this one. So for example, you skip it and it was a weekly reminder. It would just remind you again next week. Go a little further, you can mute them. Muting is totally expected because the AI doesn't necessarily know anything about the person. It just knows that you're out of pattern with that person. So you can think of it as maybe you're working closely with an agent. Cloze is saying, hey, you stop communicating with them. That transaction is done. If you don't care about the agent, just mute them and move on. But it might matter during the cycle. So you'll see those patterns as you get going. So the way it works, Cloze uses the AI to figure out when to follow up. It's that simple. It's going to keep track of those calls and texts and emails and all of that, and then wait until it sees that that period of time has gone by, and then it's going to remind you again to reach out. What I showed you earlier is that you can fine tune these settings based on the stage and segment that are set. So my warm sellers, I could be reminded every 3 weeks, and my hot sellers could be every week, and my in contract could be every 3 days. So I can have a different schedule for every type of relationship, regardless of where they are on the journey with you. Okay. we've got built-in settings here, so you don't have to tweak them, but you can change this. I'm going to show you those settings in a second. The AI may pick up on patterns that are more frequent than this, but think of this as a backstop. So if you don't talk to somebody, Cloze will catch it and remind you. If you're continuously talking to somebody, we're not going to remind you. It's that simple. A lot of CRMs out there will just remind you every 2 weeks. And even if you just talk to them 30 seconds before, you're still going to get the reminder. That's not what this is. So in settings, I'll do this live in a second, is where you can customize by segment. So each segment will have its own set of settings. And then within that, you can adjust by stage. Simple sliders, easy to do. All right, so let's go have a look at these, and we'll try to share my phone here. Great. Okay, so this is Cloze on my phone. I'm going to scroll down to the keep in touch reminders. You can see I've got 6 for the day: Gina, Monica, Ferris, a few other people here, different cycles. So it's been 2 months since I talked to Gina. It's been 15 days for Monica, 14 days for Ferris. And if I expand the others, I got 21 days, 14, etc. So you can see that right there, the date, and you can see whether it was a call or a text, mail, whatever it might be, is clear there. Simple actions, as we talked about. So first position is snooze. So if I release on snooze, it's going to give me some options. Later today, this evening, I can pick whatever I want. And then I can just tap on save. Easy to do. I go a little further, select mail. I release on that. It's going to bring up a template. This template here is what we call a built-in template. It's to get you started. You can customize this. It's also going to include an email signature. You can mimic whatever signature you've got. I know EXP's got all kinds of templates you can use, things like that. If you need assistance with this, ask our team, support@cloze.com. They can help you get it in there. When you send an email through Cloze, you're sending it with your real email. So you're sending it with your Gmail, your iCloud, your Yahoo, your Outlook, whatever you've connected, that's what it's going to use to send. After I push send, upper right corner, I'm going to see it in my sent folder outside of Cloze. No different than sending it with the built-in app, email app on your phone, or sending it through Gmail or Outlook. Gina's not going to know I sent it through Cloze. So it is a real email, no difference at all. The difference is we layer things on that might be helpful. So good example. I've got Hi Gina here, built-in template. This light bulb icon we've talked about a few times. If I tap on that, that brings up our ghostwriter. So if I want to rewrite this template, I can do so. I'm going to say, give me a new subject. It's going to write me a new subject. Long time, no chat. Let's catch up. So it just wrote that for me. Very easy. I'm going to tap on the light bulb. I was just talking to somebody on Monday, and during her rollout of her brokerage, and she was saying they were having a lot of fun playing with all the different options down here. So I love to hear that. So we got grammar, simplicity, clarity, professionalism, all kinds of different options. So they were going back and forth. Some of them, can be a little more short or simple, whatever you want. Sales potential is a little more salesy. I'm going to pick authenticity here, select that, and it will write a new one there. It's been a while since we chatted, so I want to check in. Easy to do. It's personal. It's one-to-one. These types of communications far outperform the glossy style marketing email. You can do all that with Cloze too, but you get a 200%, 200x difference level of engagement, meaning reply rate, them getting back to you, interacting with you on these types of messages versus newsletters, market updates, just listed, those kind of things. So that's why these are really important, because you're connecting at a different level, checking in, seeing how you can be helpful, maybe offering something of value, whatever it might be, but you're engaging with that person in your sphere. I like Jay's quote that I gave before, because once you get into this rhythm, it becomes very easy. They get used to you interacting, you being helpful, you're part of their community, that kind of thing. Okay, now a couple more features up top here. Upper right corner, if I tap on that drop down, a couple of things to highlight. Scheduling, you can schedule it. So if I want this to go out the next day, maybe I'm doing my work a little late, I want it to go tomorrow morning, I can set tomorrow, and then I can pick the time, whatever time I want. And then, so now this email will go out tomorrow morning at 8:30. I can set a follow-up. I use this one myself all the time. Remind me next week.
So what this will do is, if no reply, so if Gina doesn't reply to me, remind me next week. That's really helpful because now I'll remember I even sent the email, right? We've all done that. And then the last one here to highlight is this bell icon. That's email open and link click tracking. When Gina opens this email, I'm going to get notified about this email. Everyone loves this feature because it's just like if you've ever done email marketing and they tell you your open rate. This is with your real email. So if you're negotiating with an agent, that can be helpful. Did the client get my email? Did they open it? If you see a flurry of clicks or flurry of opens, you know maybe they're about to call you back or reply. It can be very, very helpful. This is a way to ease into it. Agents will always talk about how this kind of gets them addicted a little bit. It's one of those features that just gets you started. Okay. They're not going to know, the recipient's not going to know the tracking is there either. Now, another thing, if you really love this email that was just written, you can update the template. Tap on the template icon there, and you can say update, and it will save this for all future use. Or see where it says create, you can create a new one, and then you can select that in the future if you wish to do so. So anytime you love a template, you can simply create one. Okay. All right, so that's quick tips on the email piece, but it is important as part of that daily use. So the idea is to work through those. If I want to call, I can swipe and call. Tap on the phone number. If there's more than one, you can pick. The one at the top, though, is going to be the last one you use. So if you're not sure, pick the one on the top. So all I got to do is tap and dial here. This will dial out through AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, whatever you got connected. If I decided for whatever reason, I just wanted to flip over to the phone app and dial Gina from there, Cloze is still keeping track. So as long as I've connected my phone, my activity outside of Cloze is still getting tracked. So if I email outside of Cloze, or I call outside of Cloze, or I text outside of Cloze, all that communication history gets tracked automatically. You don't have to be in Cloze to do it. It's a lot easier because you're reaching out. But I know some systems are like, we track things automatically as long as you dial from within the product. Well, that's not what we're talking about here. Okay, so work through this routine. It'll make a big difference. Next thing we're going to talk about is goal tracking. You can see right at the top there. So the nice thing about the goal tracking is it's similar in concept to the Apple Health app. If you've ever tried the Apple Watch and have the Apple Health app on your phone or equivalent on Android, the nice thing about it is you don't have to set it up. It just keeps track of how you move. So how many steps you do, how many stairs, are you sitting behind a desk, or are you running marathons once a week, something like that, right? So it understands exactly how you're moving, and then it sets goals. And then it nudges you, hey, do a few more steps, you can close your rings. Go take a walk, you can close your rings. Exact same thing with Cloze. We've got rings, and the goal is to close the rings. Our rings are just like the Apple Health Watch rings, in that because Cloze can understand your communication history and how you work, it will go back in time and understand that. So every set of goals, just like the Apple Health app, are the exact same thing in Cloze. So it's personalized to you. So it understands how often you reach out, when you reach out. So are you more active on a Monday versus a Wednesday? Or if you're doing all your work on a Wednesday, it's not going to start nudging you more on a Monday. And then when you connect SkySlope, it's going to bring in your sides. So it knows your GCI, it knows how often, how many deals you're doing per year. And it brings that all together for you into one nice set of automatic goal tracking. It understands seasonality. So it understands the ebbs and flows of real estate very easily. So as you go through, it's gonna give you that built-in understanding of seasonality, because right now, summertime, things are a little slower. It's gonna understand that. Important thing to note here is it's all about weekly goals. So it's not pressuring you really hard on the activity of the day, because you're gonna get busy at different points, but the goal is to get there by the end of the week. There's pacing built in, so you know exactly where you are on that pacing. So it'll keep you on track. You can see, okay, I got a few more to do. It's going to give you catch-up guidance. So I got a few more a few more calls, and I'll get back on track. It's easy to do. It's all based on automatic tracking, so you don't have to do anything manual. One of the things when we studied all this, everybody was manually entering everything, and I don't know how anybody has time to do that. So logging every call, every email, every meeting just to track goals, that gets tired. Everybody gets tired of that very quickly. So all automatic. That's why we kind of fundamentally rethought how it would work. So weekly goals,
automatic based on your historical activity. I'll show you how to override that if you wish to do so. Annual goals, again, are based on that transaction history. So based on whatever is in your SkySlope account. Also, you can update it. And then if you adjust the goal, so say you increase your GCI goal for the year, that will backfill and tell you, hey, you got to do more outreach every single week. The reason that is we did a big study, and we've been hearing this for years from some of the coaches, but we actually did a study, and we analyzed thousands of different agents. It was way over 10,000 agents, and to understand if there was the correlation that we've kind of anecdotally been hearing. So on average, for every 10 sides you want to close, you need to reach out to 4 clients per day. Okay. It's not crazy, right? And so this is reaching out to your sphere. It's completely correlated. So if I do 28 outreaches a week, I can get to my 10 sides per year. Now, the reason that the middle part's important here is it has to be to people that have some relationship to you. They're part of your sphere. They have to be reacting. If you buy a list and you're cold outreaching, you're not going to get these kind of metrics. It needs to be people that are part of your core sphere. Real estate, that's very much how the business is run. If you look at the NAR statistics, it's half of all deals come from people in your sphere, from repeat clients and referrals, right around that, some percentage in that range. So focus in on there. That's what Cloze is really good at. It's going to keep you on pace automatically through the goal tracking. Shouldn't have to spend any time setting this up, but it's a good thing to keep an eye on. So you're going to be able to see where you are. So in this case, I'm at 17. I got 5 more to go to catch up today. That's the guidance along the bottom there. It's also giving you some little bit of positive reinforcement here, because it's saying, okay, you reached out to 17. I've got 15 reactions, so I'm doing well. The pacing, that's the arrow there. So that'll show you where you need to get to for the day to stay on pace for the week. Kind of simple. So when Apple is nudging you, say, hey, 5 more to go, 5 more steps to go, and you're there, same idea in Cloze. So that's the bottom. That'll just give you that extra little bit, but it helps you understand what else you need to do. All right, so let's look at this quickly on my phone. So here's my phone. There's the goal tracking. You can see middle of the week, I'm doing well. I'm ahead of pace across the board, except for sides. I got 1 more to get done for the year to stay on pace. So I'm doing well so far. 36 for the week. I've done 24, just a little bit ahead. Same thing for reactions. Now, if I swipe to the right, you can see details there. I can see how I've been doing, how many times I've been hitting. So I've been pretty good pace there of hitting, but then I guess it's the summertime, so I'm a little off there, but I had a good streak. You can scroll down and expand these other sections if you'd like. Now, if I go the other way, 2 things. 1, if you release on help, everything I just told you is built in right here, so you can get a quick tutorial. There's that screen of how it all works. And then the pacing and how it measures it, and then some guidance on things you can adjust. So it's all right there for you. If I swipe to change the wrench, this is where I can adjust my goals. So if I want to change my outreach goals, you can see here where it says automatic. I've got it to 36. If I turn that off, I can type in whatever number I want. I can make that 50. And now it's set to 50 if I want to set that. Okay. You can also rearrange. So I'm going to put GCI in the top position, hit close. So now you can see GCI is right there. Swipe it back. You can also add custom goals, tap on add, and then any measure we have can be set and created. Generally, when we did all the research, we found that the reason Apple has 3 goals, 3 rings that you can close is because that's pretty much what we can handle as humans. If you get into too many goals, it's hard to keep track of them all. But you can certainly add them, and then to see them all, you can see them in that details section and just scroll down and see how you're doing. Okay. So very handy. If you're on the desktop, same thing. The only difference is you get this rollover. So if I want to hit change, I just click on the wrench there, and then I can do the same thing. Or if I want to see the metrics, They'll come up along the side here. Same thing for the outreach on the agenda. There's rollover buttons here. So if I want to click on one of those, I can. Just click on the arrow, and it'll bring up the template. And then the same functionality. So anytime you see an arrow, that's when there's a template that you can select. All right, let's go through some AI-based reminders here. Quote from Adam here, and what I like about his quote here is that I think we've all been there, right? We have a very busy day, we miss something, it's buried in our inbox, and we just forget to reply, or we completely miss what the client is asking for. And so what he's talking about here is that our AI will understand, did I miss an email completely? And if you don't respond and it's somebody you know well, we're going to put that email back in front of you. Or maybe they asked you for something and there was some item you need to get them and you missed that. So our AI is very good at nudging you. So in this example, somebody's saying, hey, can you give me a call on Saturday morning? Well, Cloze is going to remind me on Saturday morning. Really, really helpful. Another example, document needs to be signed. Sky slope, you get it. If you have a document that comes in that needs to be signed, it's going to automatically remind you, but also for other signing products. Just about all the major signing products will understand and make sure that that's covered. We're also going to update contacts with information Cloze discovers in email signatures. So in this example, got a new contact here. In her signature was a new phone number, email address. Cloze grabbed that information and updated the contact for me automatically. So I don't have to do it at all. Very, very simple. Now, we're going to do that for you automatically 99% of the time. Occasionally, you're going to see that on the agenda. Very rarely, but it's the only time you're going to see it is if we're asking you to review it before you accept it. So we saw something in there and we want you to just take a quick peek at. It's pretty rare, but sometimes we want you to review it. Put this in here because I just highlighted the reminder, but I find it myself very useful, so I'm biased. When you're on any email, just tap on the ribbon and set that reminder. I do this all the time. It is very helpful. It's not AI based, but it is super helpful. All right, let's look at an example here. So let's see. There's an important message. So anytime you see important message, that's our AI flagging the email for you. So looking at it from here, I can see I'm going to get a reminder at 6 p.m. Remember, the agenda is organized based on the day. So as your day unfolds, it's going to reorder itself. So this is later in the day, 6 p.m. I'm going to tap on that and I can see the email now. So came in early this morning from Dave here. And there it is. Please send me anything that fits the bill this evening. So he's asking me to send something this evening. Well, Cloze caught that. And now it's going to remind me this evening. So make sure I take care of it. Very, very simple. So you're going to see these periodically, not all the time, but periodically. Open and link click tracking. We touched on this briefly. Very, very popular feature. It's on by default. You're going to see notifications happen automatically, but as you send emails, send text, the primary question we get here is, what if I send an email outside of Cloze? Do I still get the tracking? You have to send it from within Cloze. So that's the only requirement. Otherwise, it's enabled automatically. And the recipient won't know that you're tracking. It just happens automatically. It's very helpful, I find. So we go back here. You can see some examples. I sent some emails earlier. There's one, happy birthday, a reminder for email to do a real estate review, and then checking in. So just different open notifications there all for me. Now, if I tap on one of these, this is the email I sent on Monday. If I scroll to the bottom, you're going to see the details of the open. So there was an open 89 minutes ago in Gmail. If he continues to open it, this section will get bigger. So it gives me a little more clues as to what's happening. Only you can see this. Nobody else can see that, but it's just an understanding of what's happening with the email. Okay. Every time you get a notification in Cloze, you're going to see it on the agenda and as a push notification to your device. So on your phone or on your computer, you'll see it there. That can be helpful to notify you as soon as something occurs. All right. Recurring anniversaries. Touched on this a little bit, but as those anniversaries happen, they pop up on your agenda. So you can imagine a birthday is today, it'll show up on your agenda. A purchase anniversary, sale anniversary. Again, connecting SkySlope to Cloze, you'll have purchase anniversary, sale anniversary come in automatically. Birthdays will come in from various contact apps. It is part of the contact record. And so you'll see those come in, and then you can set them if for other folks that don't have them set. But when it comes to birthdays, if you have a birthday in your Google contacts, in your 365 contacts, in that spreadsheet you send to us, we will bring it in. It just gets set automatically. If you don't know the birth year, that's fine. Any year is fine. Just watch out for leap years. So if somebody has a birthday in a leap year, you got to make sure you get that right. Otherwise, it's just going to happen every single year. I always like to get them in there and personally reach out versus saying, happy birthday on Instagram or Facebook or something like that. Just much more personal if you get a chance to reach out that way. Question we always get here is, what about Facebook and Instagram and any of those services? Can you import the birthdays? The answer is we used to be able to do that, but it's now been about a decade since we could do that. It's been a very long time. So Facebook just doesn't allow it. They want you saying happy birthday over there and seeing all the advertisements they're putting in front of you. So not possible. But if you do see a birthday there, you could easily bring it in and add it to Cloze as you go. I'd probably do that in as you go type of thing. You can also customize and add other fields. So some common ones there. You can add more dates to transactions you're doing in Cloze, keeping track of in Cloze. It can be all kinds of things. So anniversary dates are very, very helpful. Another thing to note is that you can trigger automatic emails to go out based on that date. So if you want an automatic birthday email to go out, instead of sending it yourself, you can set that up. It's easy to do. It's just one click. But a lot of people also like to do the more personalized touch. Okay. So you can see here in the middle, I've got purchase anniversary, birthday, same thing as before, simply swipe. And then I've got a template based on the type of anniversary. So I've got purchase anniversary here. It's been a year. Great. Birthday, same thing. Easy to do. Same thing as before too. I can tap on the ghostwriter and have it write a new subject for me. Great. Happy birthday. I got an emoji in there. Fun. And just like we looked at before, I'll go over the desktop to show you. If I want to select Gina here, I can go down to that important date section and set the appropriate date. Just click on it and you can set it. You can go back in time to years, etc. Just keep clicking that middle menu. Easy to do. All right, so while I'm in here, I want to show you a couple of things. I'm going to go to settings, tap on more, tap on settings. There's a few settings you can look at while we're in here in the customization section. There's people and companies. If I tap to expand that, this is where I can make a variety of changes. We have lots of documentation in our help center if you want to customize. Our base configuration will work quite well for most people, but if you do want to customize, this is where you can do it. If I tap on the gear, I can adjust various items for the specific segment. So I've got a buyer segment. I'm clicking on the gear. We were talking about keep in touch reminder sliders before. This is where I adjust them. So in contract buyers, if I wanted to move this to every week, I just change the slider. Every 3 weeks, you can see how it's very easy. Same thing for hot buyers. I could say every 3 days, whatever makes sense. So you can do this for each stage within the segment. If I go down a little further, this is where I can adjust my steps. So we're going to have some built-in steps for you. You can click on add to add your own step. You can see there's different modes: process, task list, and mixed. This is in mixed mode. So I have a top level milestone, follow up with a lead, and then under it, I've got other checklist items I can check off as I go. Okay. So you can do a lot in here, or you can choose not to use it at all. If you don't want to use steps at all, just click on the minus and you can remove them. Easy to do. Standard set of segments are going to be included in your account. If you want to add a segment, click on add, and then you're going to have two options: with stages or without stages. With stages, what we talked about earlier, warm, hot, and contract closed and lost. If you don't need a stage, so it's somebody like a family member, a friend. Examples here, these are stageless, we call them, because you can't be on a journey with a family member, right? But some people, like an A, they're either an A for you on your part of your sphere or not. So if there's no journey, then you don't need a stage. Think of it that way. So there's some quick settings there that you can go through if you want to customize your Cloze account. That's one area to look in. When it comes to connecting accounts, connecting SkySlope, I know we said we would touch on that. You can see down here, I've already got it connected. But if you want to connect it, click on add, and then go down to real estate, and then select SkySlope. And this is how you'll connect Cloze. Documentation in our help center. If anybody has questions about that, we can get you the links and that kind of thing. Okay. But I do recommend connecting it. All right. And we got about 5 minutes left here. So a few more things to cover. Talk about leads. So one of the challenges in the real estate industry is that we get leads from a lot of places. So hundreds and hundreds of different places, and those leads create alerts. Those alerts land in our inbox, and it's pretty hard to get them into our CRM. So what Cloze does is grab the information out of our inbox and create the lead automatically for you. So what it will do is alert you as soon as it hits your inbox. It's going to notify you with a push notification. At minimum, a single tap to create the contact, and then you can just get on the phone. You can go a lot further and just automate it. So not only do you get the alert, but a campaign can be triggered immediately to follow up with the lead. So you can go really far with these. Not going to go into designing all the follow-up, but if you need assistance on that, we can definitely set you up. So if you have lots of leads all coming in, you can easily get them added to your Cloze account. We can extract them. Our support team helps folks out all the time, set those up. But think of any service, your website, whatever it might be, we can get those leads coming into your Cloze account. So here's an example of one of those simple ones. Lead came in, just tap on it. I can see it's got Ellen's name or email address, phone number. Cloze will create this contact if I tap on accept. And then it's going to mark it as a warm buyer. It's going to set the lead source to website and add the contact. And I can be on the phone very quickly. I gave this as a simple example to show you what a lot of people will set up. It just comes in, automatically gets captured, and then an email goes back out to Ellen in this case, following up. And then that campaign, that follow-up automation can nurture them a little bit, hopefully get them to book a meeting with you, and then you can let it do the work for you if you're not available. Okay. All right. So last part I'll leave you on is the routine. So we talked about the goal tracking and the various activities here. The goal is to get yourself to the bottom of the list. So try to clear everything out of here if you can. You're going to see your meetings coming in here too. So you can reconfirm them. You can see what's coming up. You can take notes. But if you haven't talked to somebody in some time, I do recommend reconfirming. So this might be an activity you do the night before as part of your routine. So I can swipe and reconfirm, and there's a template built in. A little best practice there. Meetings you've finished, same thing. You can add notes if you wish to do so. You can also send a follow-up email. Great time talking today. When you're done with any of these, you can mark them clear. So I know a lot of us take calls in our car, we have meetings, whatever it might be. This is a good way to remember, do the follow-up after, add notes, whatever you'd like to do. When you do add notes, one comment here is that all the devices these days, if you click on the icon there, that voice icon, you can do voice notes in here. Just select select the body, tap on the microphone, and you can just add your notes and they will save in here. So that's another way to do that. Easy to do. So think of the bottom here as your end of day wrap up checklist. I like to kind of peruse, see what's there. You can look ahead. If you tap on today, you can see what's coming up. Tap on next 7 days and you can see everything coming up the next day as well. Okay. So Leslie here, I like his comments because he's a managing broker, a little bit different role, but he uses Cloze religiously. And one of his points here is a very good one, I think, for all of us, in that if we had to manually create a list and put it on paper or wherever we're going to do it, that just becomes a lot of work. And maybe we get back and forth, we get out of routine. It's easy to stop doing that. Cloze will pull it together for you every single day and get you going in the morning. But if you don't get through all of it, it's still there for you. So his point is, you might be waiting for somebody to show up at lunch or whatever meeting it might be. You get a little extra time, 10 minutes, go through your agenda. Maybe you can send off a couple of birthdays, or you can send off a keep in touch email. Any of those kind of things help you stay closer to your sphere. It just makes a difference. And so those little moments can be very big. So think of it as a routine. Stay in that routine. First 15 minutes of the day, stay out of your inbox. It's all about relationship building, but do those activities. They will impact your business. And that's the whole point of this. You know, a lot of CRMs are kind of glorified contact apps. This is more about making a meaningful difference to your business. So starting in your day here, lots of other bells and whistles. We'll get into the Canva stuff and all the great things you can do with Cloze, but this routine will make a big difference in how you stay close to your sphere. So a little bit of homework. Get into that agenda, keep organizing. I know some of you are just getting going here, so go through some of the things we went, attend the other classes because we do get into the organization. We're going to have other topics. Meeting with your marketing team coming up here, so we're going to get all the Canva stuff ready to go for you. Then we'll do classes just on Canva, but we'll have classes on a variety of other topics like how to set up a team in Cloze, and we can do others as we get ideas from the community. So if you have ideas for classes you'd like to see, definitely let us know. But if you need assistance with your signature or anything like that, definitely reach out to us. So just looking at the questions here, I know we're at the top. So here's where you sign up for Cloze. Go to the exptoolkit.com, CRM of choice, and that's where you can sign up. Our classes are every Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central. Remember that tip I gave you earlier, export the contacts out of your other CRM and send them to us, and we'll migrate all that data for you if you need it. Let's see, one other question. Can you send the daily activity agenda again? So I think I showed this again, but we'll go back to the agenda here. So this is the routine. So the agenda here will give you your full action plan for the day. This is generated automatically for you every single day. You don't have to do anything special, but as you organize more people in your sphere, you're going to see more people showing up here as you go. Okay. And then as far as help resources go, our help center is at help.cloze.com. You can chat with us there as well. You can email us at support@cloze.com. We have Cloze University at learn.cloze.com. That's great for signing up, and then you can do learning on your own pace. Lots of classes there. So all kinds of different resources for you to help learn in different ways as we go. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Join us again on Monday, and that'll be our next class. And we have them throughout the summer all the way till September. So you get to hear a lot of us. And if you need any assistance, definitely reach out to us.